All right, for this particular discussion, we'll be tackling layoffs in 2025. Many people are thinking that these layoffs are causing a very big problem and that this is like a new trend. But, honestly, it's not a new trend. Maybe the attention that it's grabbing because of the social media era is great. Like, especially a couple of years ago, there weren't as many social platforms, and as everyone is becoming accustomed to sharing their livelihoods on social media, there has been a common stigma where layoffs are really a big thing. But I would like to point out, throughout history, throughout the industrial revolution, through the dot-com bubble, through even the recession in 2008, there have been multiple layoffs. But it's also good to point out that after there are layoffs, they're all also rehiring. It's just when technology changes and becomes automated, redundant jobs get eliminated. But at the same time, new jobs do get created. And I just want people to please be in hope and do not despair. So, for today's discussion, I will go over automation, industries, domains affected, the heavy competition around particular jobs that people are aiming for, tech related jobs, blue collar jobs, and some solutions to the problems during these layoff scenarios. And yes, I do understand that during these layoff times, it is a very sensitive and emotional era per se, or a stage. But it's a small piece of your livelihoods. It's not going to last forever. And in all honesty, during these downtimes, there's a lot of opportunity for growth that I will explain. Okay. And for automation, many services will be automated like delivery, car washing, house cleaning, and etc. So let me just give you an example, even for house cleaners. I would say in the next decade, even house cleaning will be automated, especially for people that have money, that make a lot of money.
Look at this. He's got cameras and everything. He does all this.
So as you saw, this particular robot, it was cleaning the bathroom. It has 1 ounce sensitivity. It's cleaning your room. It's amazing at what technology can do nowadays. Everything will be automated. It's quite hilarious too that the robot can do it. Not only that, but it was cleaning dishes. And let me play the video a little forward. It's gonna
I
even
don't see
sort your
the price or
shoes.
anything. This is, I think, was a proof of concept and showing you.
So yeah, and warehouse jobs will also be automated via robotic arms and other machines. Right now, a lot of warehouse jobs, I would say, like they're like in the 10-20% of automation. It's not just Amazon; it's a lot of other warehouses too. Another warehouse that uses heavy robotics is Granger, even for manufacturing plants and whatnot. The workforce will be reduced, and people must prepare for what's about to happen. This is a time where people should really learn new skills, pick up new skills, right? And maybe enroll in new learning programs. The internet provides various options to learn, right? And I want to tackle another important point: customer service. There used to be whole corporate office buildings in cities and metropolitan areas, and let's say a 10-story building as a customer support office. That whole building is like eliminated via just chatbots and automation. You might just have a floor to deal with critical incident reports that the chatbot cannot handle, right? And maybe for legality issues, they're going to have maybe a few. So an example would be like you have 1,000 call center agents. That 1,000 call center agents will literally be reduced to like 10 or 20, right? And those jobs will be eliminated. right? And why would companies do this? Well, you save a lot of money, right? You don't got to pay for the whole building, right? It costs money to maintain the building. You got electricity. You got to pay the employees their salary. They have benefits, insurance. Then you obviously they need some community activities within corporate office, right? All of the expenses will be saved, right? It's not just outsourcing. People have to realize even when these type of jobs are moved to other countries, those jobs are also getting, you know, eliminated. All right. And as an electronics hardware engineer, I can guarantee that every job, even to this very day, can actually be automated, but it isn't, which is kind of a good thing, right? Because for human culture, it needs to be a slow transition. It shouldn't be like that. It should take some time for the transition to occur, so everyone has the time to adapt and update themselves. And another most important thing that people should consider: many industries and domains will be affected. All right. Now, I know, especially in United States and a lot of other countries, there have been various new startups per se that came within the last 5 years that have been really clicking off. Some examples are Grubhub, DoorDash, right, Uber Eats, and other countries. They have their own specific brands such as Swiggy and Zomato. I know that's used in India. I know every country has their own delivery services, right? But with these delivery services, what's happening is that they really haven't even lasted a decade. What's happening is that now people are using robots, drones, right? Rovers, ground-based vehicles, air-based vehicles to deliver their products, right? So you'll have an automated vehicle to come to your building or house, and from that transportation vehicle, another robot will uh, get down from that vehicle and deliver the item to your doorstep. And what's also happening is that some states are even allowing the legalizing for drone delivery, and it's already happening today, such as in Texas, right? And we have cab services that are being automated, not just in America, but in China and other countries too. So your car it just comes, it picks you up and drops you off, and sometimes there's not even a driver in there, right? So all of these fields they are getting affected, and it's happening slowly. But it's as soon as legalization and hardware becomes cheaper, it it will happen on a large scale. And I also want to point out, with Trump's tariffs, the another reason he's making these tariffs and all electronic production within the state is when you have this much automation, you want to make sure every electronic gadget within your country does not have surveillance capabilities from other countries, right? That's number one. So that's a security issue. Number two, there's going to be so much electronic circuitry going on because of this automation that needs to happen within the country. That's why, because of Trump's regulations and tariffs, companies are actually building and manufacturing automated car plants within the United States. If your car is about to be automated on the road, it should be made within that country. All right, right. You have all of these gadgets. You have even semiconductor integrated circuit manufacturing plants. New ones are being brought up. Within the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a heavy transition period. And because you have this knowledge now, it would be a good idea to invest in companies that are making these gadgets, like electronic companies like Micron, Intel, right? Amazon, Dell, HP. Invest a couple of dollars every day. Even if you do like $10, $20, you're going to end up making a lot of money 5 years down the line, right? That $10 will be 500, 1,000, right? Nvidia is another good company, right? These industries are $1 trillion industries. We are crossing the million, and we have crossed the million mark, and they're crossing the billion mark. Right now, they're crossing the trillion mark. Right, so we are in that transition period, and it's good to be up to date. Right, and I also want to give the electronic design industry why this is being automated. This is almost entirely automated. Right, most of even the manufacturing is definitely automated, right, to build all of those billions of transistors in one small die. But we also have to keep in mind at one point electronic design had a great demand for jobs, right? As the software industry today, what's happening with the software industry also happened during electronic design, right? And much of the design process has been abstracted even when coding is required, right? So that's the similarity that people should pay attention to, right? And electronic design will also go through a major transition period because we're going from binary computation to quantum computation, right? So there's going to be a lot of research areas and jobs that will open up in this era too. So this would not be a bad idea to invest studying, right? And another honest opinion that I want to, not honest, but another reality that people should realize is when people study, it's not like a 6 month, 1 year thing. These type of domains like the tech field, electronic design field, the medical industry, right? These take even trades. They take a couple of years to master it. This is like a long-term commitment. It's a 3 to 5 year commitment, but you will have you will have wonderful fruits for your labor per se. You will make a good financial gain from these fields, right? And another industry that I see becoming automated is accounting. Nowadays, we're paying $200, $300, sometimes $500, or even $1,000 to get our taxes paid. Let's say you make a 200 or 300K income. Like, why are we paying $1,000 for them to file our taxes, right? Many tools and softwares are coming out where you just pay maybe $20, $50, and it will take care of your taxes, right? And if there is an error, the filing tool will be, or that respective company will be responsible for that error, right? So that's another industry like CPA accountants. They will, some of those people will also be laid off, and obviously manufacturing, right? Manufacturing warehouse workers from plants and whatnot, they will be laid off, right? And the competition for jobs. All right, as jobs disappear, right? For new jobs to be created, it will take some time, all right? So, and it's also one note that people should understand is that companies also are going through this transition period, right? Just as employees are confused, the companies are also confused, right? They rely heavily on AI. Sometimes they invest millions and billions of dollars, but they don't see much output or real value that it's providing. And then on the other hand, they don't know if they should. Now they're confused. It's like now they're calling an AI bubble. If you look up the term, where AI is not really producing the amount of profits they expected, right? So a lot of companies are losing their investment money on it. And at the same time, for employees, now they're confused. They don't really update their skills because they think AI is going to take over their jobs. But in reality, it's not going to happen as you guys think. The jobs will come back. People should be on top of their skills, refurbish their skills, learn the new relevant technologies, all right? And the competition for these jobs is increasing. The caliber back in the day for a typical software job would be all right. I would say a decade ago would be you learn a programming language, you learn some data structures, you have maybe one or two projects on GitHub, right? And you have a leak code profile or a hacker rank profile, and you know how to communicate, you're guaranteed a job. 60, 70, 100K job, you land it. Nowadays, it's not just that. You have not only do you have to learn those mentioned skills before, but you also have to have an understanding of system design, cloud infrastructure, right? How can I build a software or a tool or a website or application where I can scale it to 1,000 different people, right? And if the website has an error, or how do I fix the error, right? So these are very serious issues that need to be considered, and people just really need to study more. And I would say it is difficult, but it's not impossible. It really isn't rocket science at the end of the day. This is something that people have to commit their time to, right? Before, like 5 to 10 years ago, it was all right. You put in 3 to 6 months, you're good. You secure yourself a job. But now it's like you gotta have a good, 1 to 2 years of solid skill set to have a good foundation to secure a job. All right. So even for engineering, you have to provide some value. It's not just like just learn a little bit and go in. You got to go in full. You got to provide some value on the day. People are saying entry level jobs are disappearing. They're not entirely disappearing. It's just the bar for attaining those jobs is somewhat higher. All right. So don't feel down in the dumps. Jobs are there, right? Even even if you look at like the BLS website, the unemployment rate is fluctuating, but at the same time, jobs are disappearing. New jobs are being created, but they don't know how to fill those jobs. These people are not learning their respective skill set, right? And it just takes a little bit of research, a little bit of R&D. All the resources are available. You got to watch YouTube videos, you got to read a bunch of news articles, you got to look at the market, you got to look at companies, right? Instead of just applying on Indeed and LinkedIn, Actually go to, companies, right? Go to the company websites, apply through there, right? See the skill set, and don't overestimate your skills. Have an actual like conversation or critical analysis of yourself. Where are you at, right? If you're in a tech job, do I have the skills, right? And can I actually create a website from scratch, right? Even if AI tools, they can create a website from scratch. Can I read the code that it created? Can I track it? Can I fix it? Can I modify it? These are real questions you need to ask yourself, all right? Warehouse jobs, yes, these jobs will have a lot of competition because obviously a lot of the jobs will be automated, right? You have loaders, unloaders, you have pickers and whatnot. So even today, there's a lot of jobs. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 months to secure a warehouse job, right? So don't quit your job if you have a job. It's always good to have some stable income. Trade jobs, all right? Trade jobs have some serious competition, but not as much as for engineering, software, and warehouse jobs. Trade jobs are, there's a lot more out there, right? Every state is having development, right? They're building new homes. They require electricians, plumbers, carpenters. There's a lot of municipal jobs. If you go to your local community municipal websites of your town, city, or suburb, you'll find some jobs there. They're pretty secure. They have good benefits. Sometimes there's a waiting period. Sometimes you have to move to different states. You just have to look for them, right? Management jobs, there's also a lot of competition for management jobs, but for redundant management jobs, they're being eliminated entirely. But there are also new management jobs that will be coming into place. Let me give you an example. Amazon warehouse, they're going to have robots working, right? They're going to need some type of management oversight. So those new jobs, you might need some relevant technical skills, right? A little bit of robotics, a little bit of understanding the key features and technologies, right? So you can look into that, right? Accounting jobs, yes, these jobs always have a lot of competition, right? But there's also a lack of CPAs too, so that's another specific niche that you can look in. Another competition is legal domain, right? Back in the day, just to get a consultation because you have a drunk driving ticket or you had a fender bender, you would have to pay a couple $100s for a damn consultation. Now you have an AI tool where you can, you know, prompt it, hey, I got this ticket. This is the ticket number. I live from for this date. What are the rules and regulations? How can I fight this ticket? Right? It'll actually give you an answer, right? And you don't, and you save money. Sometimes it's for free. Sometimes you're paying like a monthly $10, $20 subscription. So this domain will get impacted. I think lawyers are not going to see as high salaries, especially for domestic use cases. But yeah, definitely on like a upper scale, upper echelon, like business lawyers and whatnot, they will eh, also get impacted, but maybe not as much, right? But all in all, there will be a serious competition for every job, and especially for the United States. Like people have to realize the competition is increasing, but it's not the end of the world, right? In third world countries, there's even more competition, right? Like let's say you have a software engineering job in India per se or China, right? In India, you might have 1,000 applications for one job posting or 3,000, and it's only been like 3 days. In China, you probably have damn near 10,000 applications for one job posting. In the United States, you're dealing with a couple hundred. It's not as bad. It hasn't gotten reached that point. You have to realize America's population is not that much compared to other countries, right? So you also have an advantage if you're in the United States. So you got to study hard and stick to it. Instead of just like watching some TV shows, wasting time. You just gotta hit the books and tech related jobs. Oh yeah, I know I talked about this before, but let me talk about it again. The tech, it has a cycle. There will be a no hire cycle. Then as it goes up, there will be a hiring season. Then there will be a no hiring season. During this time is when people should really study their skills, develop projects, right? So when there's hiring capabilities there, you can get hired really quick. So it's just a cycle, right? In 2025, you notice this, it's actually going up. It's not down. It's just the new skills and technologies need to be learned. So what new skills and technology need to learn? Well, you have AI related skills, right? On one hand. On the other hand, you also have new technologies such as blockchain, right? So what is blockchain? Blockchain is where it's a decentralized concept, right? And the use cases are endless with the blockchain. So with the blockchain, let me show you right here. what they're doing nowadays using blockchain is they're tokenizing real world assets. So let's say your municipal is building some infrastructure or a building, or you have a house. You can actually tokenize your house, right? And when you tokenize your house, you're fractionalizing the ownership of the house. So 100 different people or 1,000 different people can own that particular house. So, what are real world assets? Real world assets encompass tangible and intangible assets, including stocks, bonds, real estate, commodities, luxury items, equities. These assets form the backbone of the everyday economy, representing value in physical and legal forms, right? It's not just real estate. You have stocks, bonds, commodity, luxury items, right? It's like anything can be tokenized. Even a piece of art can be tokenized, right? And so, what is asset tokenization? Asset tokenization is the process of converting rights to an asset into a digital token on a blockchain. Just like owning a stock equates to owning part of a publicly traded company, owning a digital token equates to owning any real world asset. This transformation facilitates the division of assets into shareable and tradable units, enhancing their liquidity and accessibility. All right. So, you guys should look into blockchain. There's a lot of jobs available in blockchain too, right? There's so many jobs that they freelance these jobs. Like the demand for these jobs is not being met with the supply. That's why they put it on freelancing so they can have access to global employment. And as you can see, you have a principal full stack developer with blockchain. If you are a full stack developer and got laid off, you might want to pick up some blockchain skills, right? All you really got to do is you probably already know the stack, right? React. You probably know you need to learn some, Web3, Solidity to write smart contracts, right? React, your UI UX framework right up there, right? And these are just posted like 9 minutes ago, 27 minutes ago, 49 minutes ago. Every day there's multiple jobs, and Upwork is not the only platform. There's a lot of different platforms. You just got to do your research, right? And within the blockchain, there's different types of jobs. You have management jobs in there. You have product management jobs. You have marketing positions. You have people that create the decentralized applications for that, right? There's just too many jobs opening up in this field. And also, every sensitive data, like they're taking government data, medical records, people's college records, right? They're putting it in the blockchain where, because it secures the data, it's very hard to hack it unless you have quantum computing. And if people don't usually have money to hack those types of systems because it costs a lot of money to make, quantum infrastructure per se. So that's why a lot of companies are picking up blockchain. There's a lot of jobs in this domain. And another reason why 2025 was a big transition for blockchain is because President Trump signed the Genius Act into law in July 2025, which created the first U.S. federal regulatory framework specifically for stable coins, right? So he passed the Genius Act, right? There's a law, right? And they set rules and regulations not only in the United States, but Dubai also released guidelines. India also released rules and regulations, right? So they could tokenize real world assets, right? And another important aspect is that to token when you're tokenizing real world assets, they are secure, right? You can't no. It's very hard to do malpractice when your asset is tokenized, right? It's secure. It's very hard to have manipulation, right? Especially for third world countries, right? And because normally there's a lot of corruption where other people try to take over your land, buy your land for less money, right? Or sometimes they have eminent domain, right? Now, because of blockchain, there's actually clauses that come in the way. So not only people, but companies and everything using blockchain to their advantage. And that's also another reason why these jobs are increasing, right? And let's talk about the tariffs. Tariffs, Mr. Trump put tariffs has, companies, unstable, but the tariffs are actually a good thing, and they're not necessarily gonna eliminate jobs in the long run. They're actually gonna create jobs because it's bringing more money in the country. If the country has more money, people will have more money. Interest rates will go down eventually, so new businesses will appear. Uh, the interest rates for loans will decrease. More money will be in the economy. More jobs will be created. Right now, it's just a waiting game and a skill development game. Right, and blue collar jobs. Right now, There are various jobs. People need to stop acting like it's the end of the world, right? There's a lot of trade jobs out there, right? Plumbers, electricians, carpenters, they are everywhere in every state, right? They will always be there too. So trades, that's one thing people can look to, and they do make a lot of money. And it's important to work that you don't really have to work a job forever. You can always have different careers, right? But it's always good, like, especially if you're in your younger years, 18, 20, 30. Oh, it's good to pick up these trade jobs, you know? And now it's before it was like one career, but nowadays it's like you have to be multi-career. You have to be multi-able. And when you learn trade jobs, these are life skills, so they go a long way. All right. You will have local community gigs also. All right. Let's say you live in a suburban neighborhood, you're unemployed, you don't have skills, but you have some money in your hand. You have 10, 20 racks in your hand. All right. What can I do to make money? All right. Why don't you build a haircutting service? Why do people have to drive far away when they can just walk down the block and get their hair done? Right. That's community work right there. Set up a lemonade stall. Right. Get a business entity. Sell watermelon juice. Right. You can literally do anything, right? It's like you're putting an online software business to read an article. You get ads, you get money just off of ads. Just like that space, the digital space, this is the real world space. You can literally do that, right? It's easy to get a business establishment, right? Make some money, pay your taxes, follow the rules and regulations, right? Look within your community. You can set up a small corner store, right? Why do people have to go to the supermarket to get their grocery? You want daily items like shampoo, soap, toilet paper, right? You don't want to order off of Amazon, right? All the time, right? Because it costs money, right? So why don't you offer it for cheap? Open up local community gigs. There's just too many opportunities. People really have to investigate and look, right? They will be there, right? And I explained this before too. Municipal related jobs, and for the youth, especially in the United States, military jobs, they're there also, and it's always good to have a military background, right? It's always good to serve your country. And I know some people might be scared of combat related positions, but let me tell you, you don't always have to have a combat related positions, right? Within the military jobs, the Army, Navy, Marines, now they have something called a Space Force. I saw a couple of jobs on Indeed and LinkedIn for Space Force jobs, right? I guess there's some space related jobs, right? This is pretty interesting. The Air Force. You have, maintenance related positions, you have engineer related positions, you have management, accounting related positions. Whatever your skill set is, you can also apply for these type of jobs, right? And the thing is, own businesses, be creative, right? You can find a way to make business, right? People on YouTube, they speak, they have a value, they provide value, and they earn income from that, right? And they live a sufficient lifestyle. So what businesses can people earn? All right, you're studying. How can I make money off of studying? Why don't I teach your local community? All right, you have to be innovative, and you'll find a way. Solutions. All right, you might have to move to another state, location, or state, right? You're gonna have to learn new technologies and skills. Also, let's say you don't have money, to get a new apartment lease or no area. You can always get a loan for college. They'll give you, you have a 4 year window where you don't really have to pay much until you graduate college, right? So you have 4 years to develop your skills. You can get your room and board and food in college, right? I know people say it's a waste of money, but if you're enrolled in a STEM degree, it's really not a waste of money. Another aspect is if you have good physical and mental health, right? You need to have good physical and mental health. Go to the gym, take a walk, be healthy, eat right, don't eat junk food, don't spend money outside on food, make food at home. You save a lot of money that way. Again, be innovative, start your own business by finding potential use cases, secure food, water, shelter through innovation, infrastructure, and rent land, right? Now, why? People, you ever heard like these trailer homes, right? This might be a new concept, right? Because a lot of people can't afford homes nowadays. Look, Tesla and other companies, they're releasing homes. Just look how insane this looks. Functional furniture, right? Including a Murphy bed that transforms into a 48-inch workspace during day. $8,000. You can rent a piece of land, right, on someone's property. Put this establishment, right? You have water, food, shelter. Amazing, right? Do your research. There's just new innovative solutions coming out left and right, right? And another important concept I want to point out is Amazon's reportedly